Yo, 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 welcome in people, how are we doing? It's the player rating stream. City getting that big result yesterday, man. And we're going to be discussing that and the player ratings, of course, go through all the stats, normal kind of stuff. And people have been asking, is there a watch along for the Arsenal game? Yes, there is. So come and join me straight after this. Available to everyone. It's going to be members only chat. Help support the channel, become an Xtra Club channel member today. I'll put the link in the pinned comment actually, so you guys can join if you fancy it. Get involved in the conversation. First of all, make sure you drop a like on the stream. Subscribe to the channel as well if you're new. We're very close to 100 likes, and we're closing in slowly but surely on 75,000 subscribers, guys. So make sure you subscribe to the channel. I not really spoke to you about the game yesterday. Obviously, you did your post-match reaction yesterday, bro. But I mean, before we just get into the play ratings, I mean, quick thoughts. I mean, it was good enough performance when it got us the win.
Yeah, obviously the 3 points, absolutely most important. I'd have taken them 1-0, but you contrast that first half with the second half. I said in my review, it's night and day. Definitely a tale of two halves. I think we learned that maybe don't bring on as many subs at once, or don't bring them all on. I think I would have preferred to have just put on maybe two of them, maybe just, I don't know, Phillips and Gomez or something like that, because we lost the midfield. We completely lost control of the midfield once we took off De Bruyne and Grealish and Rodri and these kind of players who were dominating the park. So I think Pep learned that maybe in a game, even if we are 3-0 up, don't bring on all the cavalry. I get that you want to rest some players and give them, a bit of extra rest time, the likes of De Bruyne and Haaland, who may be injury prone, but not all of them. Definitely not all of them. People say City have a massive squad. We don't, man. The quality between our starting players and our bench players is night and day, and that's just fact.
Yeah, absolutely. Yo, big up to our man. He's just straight up joining the Xtra Club. Appreciate the support, bro. Hopefully see you in the watch along for the Arsenal game. Guys, make sure you smash that like button, man. We're 5 likes away from 100 likes in it, so hit that thumbs up button and get us to 100 likes. Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. I think the subs yesterday probably just a little bit too early, but at the end of the day, you look at it now and you're probably buzzing because look at all the rest we managed to give crucial players. Haaland rest, KDB rest, Rodri rest, Ake didn't start. Akanji, who's clearly a starting player for Manchester City right now, big rest obviously come on to see the game out. So I think, okay, it was shaky, but we got through it, and that's kind of what it's about at this period in the season, man. It's about getting through those games and giving rest where you can do. So yeah, no, I completely agree. Let's get into it then. Let's go through the player ratings. And we'll start off with Edison. As always, I'll go through the player stats. And guys, get your player rating. 6 as the average. Anything over that, obviously, is good. Anything below that is bad. So let's start off with Edison. Played 90 minutes in the game yesterday. Made 3 saves. 3 saves all inside the box as well. Had a 91% pass accuracy. Only misplaced 3 out of his 33 passes. And 2 of those long passes were long balls. He only misplaced 2 out of 10 long balls. I tell you what, mate, Edison's fucking. There's a lot of questions. We always talk about Edison, innit? Because there's a lot of question marks on Edison. There's a lot of people who think that he's not good enough. His shot stopping is not good enough. But I've got to say, the last couple of games, he's made some crucial saves. And for me, again, yesterday, I think the save from Maddison. Okay, I think Maddison's done really poor and should go across goal or just pass the ball to Iheanacho. But end of the day, he's still made a huge save there. He's coming good at the right time for me, man. I think he's really impressing me at the moment with his shot stopping.
Yeah, I always thought people were going heavily overboard with the Ederson slander, and they're making him out to be a complete bum of a goalkeeper, which the reality is just not true. He would not be playing for Manchester City if he was completely crap, but he's had a monstrous week, Ederson, a monstrous week, huge against Bayern Munich, and you can really only base or judge a goalkeeper's performance off what they really have to do, the big moment game, and moments he's had all week. He's come up with the goods. I mean, there's not a huge amount he could do about Iheanacho's goal yesterday. It's just one of those ones. But, coming out, putting Maddison under pressure and other things like that yesterday, I thought he was huge. I think maybe on another day, if we didn't have Ederson in nets, we could have conceded another goal or two.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I agree. I mean, not really much you can do about the goal. Obviously, he's gone to save it, and Calvin Phillips is unfortunately stood in the way and sort of gets him in the way. Big save for the Maddison goal. Passing was on point, crisp. I'm going to give him a good rating. I'm going to give it 8.3. I'm going to give him an 8.3 match rating, man.
I'll give him an 8.5. I'll give him an 8.5 because the big moments in the last sort of 15 minutes when it was getting really, really shaky, he's not the man we wanted to get shaky, and he didn't get shaky.
Yeah, at the Extra Club, you guys have given him 8.1, and I'm seeing anything in the chat ranging from 7.5, mainly up to 8.5. However, to be fair, I've seen 1 or 2 9 ratings as well. So good performance from Edison yesterday. Passing was crisp as always. Yeah, just very tidy. Good performance from him. Big up to Amar as well, just becoming an Extra Club member. He said this with a member chat. He said, put some respect on Edison's name, made some crucial saves. Also, yesterday we saw the importance of Akanji and Ake. Much better side with them starting from Amar. Yeah, 100%, bro. I think we've seen that. Let's move it into the defense then. John Stones, geez, played 45 minutes in the game, got the first goal, wonderful strike, absolutely incredible. Made 1 clearance as well. Didn't have any ground duels to make, not really surprising given that Leicester were very negative. Only had 1 aerial duel to make, but didn't make that. Lost possession just once, had a 98% pass accuracy, only misplaced 1 pass out of 47 passes. Also made 2 long balls, both of which were successful. Kind of difficult, of course, because he did only play 45 minutes, so I can only judge him on the time that he was on the pitch. But obviously, got the first goal. Wonderful strike with his weaker foot. Absolute peach of a goal it was. On the ball, brilliant. Misplaced 1 pass in 45 minutes. And we became a worse side in the second half when he was not on the football pitch. So, you know, top performance from it. He's going from strength to strength. His stocks are through the roof right now. He's getting recognition as well from other fans, which is something that he should have had this recognition years ago. But I'm starting to see other fans recognise his talents, recognise what he can do for this side, which is good because he deserves it. And yeah, we just need to keep him fit, man, because we are a better team. And I've said this for years. We are a better team with John Stones in the side, and he's playing really, really well now. And I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it.
He fully deserves that moment yesterday in that goal for how good he has been in recent months and what he's added to our team. And as you alluded to there, like, we were a worse team when he took him off. I said at the start of the video here, we lost the midfield battle in the second half, and that's because we took Rodri and John Stones off. Both of them, once they were taken off, it was boom, we'd lost the midfield. We had invited a huge amount of pressure on ourselves. And man, you're spot on. People are starting to slowly, when I go on all these other rival shows, tell me, oh, you know what, John Stones, I wasn't familiar with your game. And I'm like, listen, he was wearing a red shirt for the last 5 years. He would be considered one of the best Premier League defenders of all time. He just, it's because he plays for Manchester City. People they're slow to give him the praise he deserves, slow to come around to the idea that John Stones he's an all-rounder. He can do everything. He's a Rolls Royce of a footballer, and I don't mean just defender. As a footballer, John Stones, you could put him anywhere in the pitch, and I'd be pretty confident he'd do a good job. The fact that Pep has given him this unique role of going from centre half into right back to becoming an inverted right back who has to dominate the middle of the park, and he does it seamlessly. This guy has everything. He's built to play at this level, and I'm so glad he got that goal yesterday, and I'm so glad it wasn't a tap-in. I'm so glad he scored a beautiful goal that he will look back on with a highlight reel and go, I scored that. It's a fantastic moment for him, and he was excellent as usual.
Yeah, he really, really was. Like I say, it can be quite difficult to give really high scores when you've only played 45 minutes, but I think because of how bad we were in the second half, that just highlights how good he was in the first half. Got the goal as well, which really settled some nerves down. So I am going to give him a high rating. For me personally, I'm not going to put him in the 9s just for me personally, because he did only play 45 minutes. But I'm going to give him a high score. I'm going to give him an 8.8, which I think is obviously a very, very high score. People who watch the channel, watch these player ratings on a regular basis will know that's a very high score. But I just can't quite get him in the 9s just simply because he didn't play the full 90.
I'm going to match you on that. I'm going to say 8.8 as well, purely because of the fact that we learned how much of a drop off there is when he's not on the pitch versus when there is.
Yeah, 100%. The Extra Club give him a 8.9, so very, very similar. And yeah, I'm kind of seeing you guys in the chat maybe agreeing with me a little bit, although there are still quite a lot of 9s, a few 9.2s, 9.5. But I think the majority of you guys have also put him in the 8s, high 8s. So yeah, top performance from John Stones. Big up John Stones, man. We've got a super chat here from Benno with a 2. It says, big W yesterday, Hugh. Grizz still sounds confident on Jude Bellingham. That's from Benno.
This guy, man, he doesn't learn. It's a matter of pride for Grizz at this stage. He's just saying this until the deal's actually done. It'll happen again. We'll have a re-feast of the other night. It'll happen.
I refeast. There we go, man. There we go. Guys, make sure you drop the likes, man. Let's get those likes up in it. We're 125 likes, over 300 people in the building. Let's get those likes past 150. 25 people needed to hit that thumbs up button, man, to get us past 150. Let's go to Kyle Walker. Gets 90 minutes in the game yesterday. Made one dribble attempt, which was successful. 70 passes, only misplaced 5 of those passes. That's a 93% pass accuracy. Made 4 crosses, all unsuccessful. 5 long balls, 4 of them successful. He won 2 out of 8 ground duels. He won his only aerial duel he had. He also made 1 clearance, got dribbled past 3 times. I think you kind of got to look at Kyle Walker's performance yesterday for me, bro. It's sort of like you got to understand what's happened. He's hardly played any football recently because we've been playing this inverted role. So he's kind of come into the game cold. And I think he delivered okay. I think he played quite well. You know what I mean? I'm not saying he had a great game, but it could have been a lot worse because he did come into that game cold, you know, as did Laporte, and we'll come on to him in a minute. So, you know, like I say, nice and steady, got us through the game. And, of course, we've got Bayern Munich on Wednesday night. Could he play there? Because, obviously, we might go there with a slightly more defensive mindset. We should be getting through Bayern Munich with 3-0 up. So then you've got Real Madrid. There's a lot of conversation about whether it should be him playing against Vinny Jr. or not. And I'm sure we'll talk about that more when we secure our place in the semi-final, if we secure it. But yeah, I mean, based on yesterday, I thought he had an all right game. You know, I think he played okay.
It was no vintage Kyle Walker performance, but like with any player who's not playing football a lot, you know, consistently at the moment, I will judge them based under that context. I will not judge Kyle Walker's performance yesterday as if Kyle Walker had been playing for the past 3-4 months every single game. And that's the kind of point I wanted to make in regarding to the drop-off in quality in the second half in general. People going absolutely sick at individuals on Twitter and calling out Phillips and Gomez and these kind of players. And I'm saying, what did you expect players who hold bench week in, week out to come on and just have the same impact as Rodri, same impact as De Bruyne and these kind of players? There's just no reality to it. So you need to judge these players based on the amount of football they're playing. If they're playing football, they're not going to look like a player who's playing week in, week out. So Kyle Walker, I wasn't expecting him to be flying up and down the touchline there and putting in huge tackles. I expect him to look like a human being who's a little bit rusty in his craft. And that's what he was yesterday. I think Kyle Walker couldn't fix it if you played him in the next 3-4 games to get back to his best. But whether you want to take John Stones out in that situation, and I don't think Pep does right now. I think Kyle Walker was fine. I'd give him a 7.3. You're on mute, bro.
I'm going to give him a 7, which is still a great rating. Obviously, anything over a 6 is a good rating. So I'm going to give him a 7. But yesterday, Kyle Walker, for me, it wasn't about the performance. It was about getting energy back into his legs, getting that match sort of fitness a little bit higher because he's not played in so long. And it'll be interesting now to see if he plays a little bit more. Will he play against Bayern? Will he play against Arsenal? Will he start to play a little bit more as we start to approach these crunch games? Arsenal, possibly Real Madrid if we make it, and Real Madrid get through Chelsea. You know, it'll be interesting to see. So I'm going to give him a 7. The Xtra Club have given him a 7.1, so it's sort of in between me and you, which again I think is fair. A lot of people in the chat, I've seen higher than that, 7.5s. I've seen a couple of 8s. It wasn't 8 for me, but that's just my view. And it's, by the way, IP Trust there with an update said it's 3-0 currently to the EDS. So yeah, big up, man, big up. Right, let's move on. Because sticking with the defense, guys, let's go to Ruben Diaz, who played 90 minutes in the game yesterday. 2 clearances, 1 block shot, 1 tackle, 1. He got dribble past once. They've also marked him down for 1 error that led to a shot, which was, of course, when he dribbled into Maddison. Maddison went and should have really scored, to be honest with you. 3 ground duels, 2 successful. 4 aerial duels, 2 successful. Had 103 passes with a 93% pass accuracy. That's really quite good. 5 long balls, 3 successful. He also made 1 dribble attempt, which was successful. But you could argue that he made 2 and one of them wasn't successful because when Maddison had the shot, that was for me a dribble attempt. I thought first half, yeah, very good. Didn't really have too much defending to do. Second half, I think his game dropped a little bit, but everyone's game dropped a little bit, and maybe it just dropped because of the players around him. Still a decent performance. I was actually quite surprised that he wasn't a player that got took off as well, because he's played a lot of football since he's come back into the side, sort of mid-January, mid-February, whenever it was that he come back into the side. He's pretty much played non-stop. So I was a little bit shocked at that, to be fair. But yeah, standard sort of performance. I say did drop in the second half, but everyone did really. So that's what it is, isn't it?
Look, it was fine. It was fine. First half, he looked like himself. Second half, he didn't look like himself. Are you surprised? No, because you brought on a lot of players that aren't fit, aren't sharp, and aren't ready to play at the level he's been playing at. Like, you know, when you say Ruben Diaz looks imperious on the pitch, it's because he's surrounded by other players who are imperious as well. He's just a massive cog on that machine. Take off Rodri, who's a massive comfort blanket in front of Ruben Diaz. That's a massive dent to him. Take off the creative players in front of him, your Grealish and De Bruyne. That's a massive dent to him. John Stones. It's going to hinder Ruben Diaz's overall game. I don't think he had a complete collapse, but as everybody in the pitch did, they looked a little bit more uncomfortable with players who aren't sharp, and that's to be expected. There's no panic over Ruben Diaz and his last sort of 15 minutes yesterday. It is what it is. You know, we move on. I'd give him like a 7.8.
Yeah, I was actually going to say 7.9. So we're in the same sort of region. The Extra Club have gone a little bit lower than us. They've gone 7.3. And you guys in the chat, I've seen a few sevens. Evan's gone 8.4, which is probably the highest I'm seeing here. Probably I wouldn't go in the 8s personally, but there are a few people in the 8s. So fair dues. Big up to Mohammed with a super chat. Says Phillips and Gomez need to be sold, not good enough, with a $2 donation. Well, for me, I think Gomez is not good enough. So I agree with that one. Phillips, I don't know, man. I feel like he needs a full season. He needs a pre-season, and let's go again next year, and then maybe decide at the end of next season. But I mean, you're not alone, Mohammed. There are people who agree with you.
We just need to get Phillips more game time earlier on in the season, next season, so that he feels like he can play a part in the second half of the season. I'll tell you this now for a fact: there is no reality whatsoever in having two CDMs of Rodri's level. It's not happening. You're not going to have a player on the bench who can have the same impact as Rodri. The player on the bench will want to be at a club where he's starting. That he's too good to play on the bench. So you need a player like Phillips who we can drip feed time into, hopefully develop him and grow him into the squad, and he'll become a Man City player. I'll tell you for a fact, just because there's a drop off doesn't mean we need to go and start panicking saying we need another Rodri. It ain't happening.
And bro, what do I always say about backup players? I always say it's the hardest player to sign because you need to get a player that's good enough to play, but isn't good enough that they'll want to leave and start somewhere else, because exactly what you just mentioned, if you go and buy another Rodri, they're not going to want to sit on the bench for 40 games a season. They're going to want to be playing. So it's a really, really difficult situation. And just quickly, Swastik, I ain't holding nothing for Phillips, bro. I actually didn't want Phillips when we signed him. I was one of the people that was like, nah, I don't actually like this guy. But now he's a Manchester City player. I'm going to back him. You know what I mean? So I'm not going to back him willy-nilly. I'm going to give him a little bit of time. I do think he's got really unfortunate with that shoulder injury, and that surgery came at a terrible time for him. But I think, like most people do, we give him a season, and the next season will be the season that we judge him on, not this one. I do have concerns. I think his positional play sometimes leaves a lot to be desired. I think he doesn't move quick enough for me, but that just might be a fitness issue because he's not playing enough. So again, I'll give him next season, and if he's not good enough next season, no problem in saying he's not good enough, move him on. But for me, it's just a little bit harsh. He's played hardly any minutes. Yesterday was his most minutes he's ever played in a single Premier League game for Manchester City. He played 40 minutes, exceeding the 35 that he played against Bournemouth. So I think we just have to be a little bit careful and be careful what you wish for, because as Hugh said, you can go out there if you want to sign another Rodri, that could cause friction. So it is really, really difficult. Big up to Vazi as well with the donation. Says, I believe everyone did their thing yesterday. No one looked too out of place for me. And overall, I'm happy with everyone. Was a good performance. That's from Vazi with the donation. Big up for the super chat, bro. We've also got a member chat from MCFC DC with the 9 months. Says, yes, Braze. Thought we should have kept Haaland on at least until the 60th minute. Surprised that he didn't bring Rico Lewis on. Rico Lewis, yeah, it's probably a shout. Could he have got some minutes yesterday? Or would that have been too much? You know what I mean? So, yeah, but he's clearly just protecting Haaland. We were 3-0 up. The game was won. So that's obviously why he done it. Let's continue. Let's go on to Aymeric Laporte, who got a start yesterday. 90 minutes played in the game, made 1 clearance, 6 ground duels, 3 of them won. He won 2 out of his 5 aerial duels, lost possession 5 times in total. Had a 97% pass accuracy of 108 passes, which is exceptional. 1 cross unsuccessful, 1 long ball, which was successful as well. Again, most people who watch this channel regularly will know that I actually don't really like Laporte playing in that sort of left-sided centre-back. I prefer him in a 2 system rather than out there on the wing, which he did often drift out there yesterday. However, I've got to say, did all right. Now, that to be fair, that might be to the fact that Leicester didn't press him. They made it easy for him on the ball, but you can only judge him on what he did. I thought he had a good game. And I'm not entirely surprised he played because I've been out, in this sort of preliminary discussions about Bayern Munich for Wednesday. I've been asking you guys and I've been saying myself, really wouldn't shock me if Laporte started against Bayern Munich. Now, I'm not saying I want that. I probably will discuss that, obviously, in the next coming days as we build up to that game. But obviously, you can't just throw him into Bayern Munich. So it's really not a surprise to me that he played yesterday. Pretty okay. Didn't really have too much to do. You know what I mean? He was just knocking the ball around, pretty nice, defending when he needed to. And overall, I thought he had a decent game. A bit like Walker, maybe. Just a bit like Walker in that sort of same sort of bracket.
Yeah, I thought he was fine. And I think it's a testament to both those players that they can come in and be fine, having not played for a long time, and they're not kicking up a fuss and that kind of thing. I think both of them. Yeah, Laporte was grand. He didn't catch my eye. There was no moment where I was saying, "Oh, Laporte's not great there," or "Laporte did excellent there." It was just one of those games where he kind of just cruised through for me. And I think as a centre half, that's probably a good thing. If he's not catching my attention too often, a centre half is probably having a half decent game. I don't think he'll play against Bayern, if I'm being totally honest. I think it was just a game where Pep identified and said, "Listen, I'm going to take the risk. I'll take Ake out. I'll give it to Laporte on the basis that Ake, who's Mr. Consistent, deserves a weekend off." The guy played non-stop, month after month after month, internationals, all that, you name it, Champions League. So we just said, "Listen, Ake, you're getting the weekend off." And then I think Ake, I would be surprised if Ake didn't feature in every single game between now and the end of the season, with the exception of Sheffield United. I think Laporte could play again next Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. I'm going to give him slightly better than a Walker. I'm going to give him a 7.4.
Yeah, I'll give him a 7.2. He didn't catch my eye. That's fine. Nothing big there.
Yeah, the Xtra Club would give him a straight up 7. And you guys in the chat, I'm seeing anything from 7. I'm seeing a 7.8. I've not seen anyone in the 8s. No one's put him in the 8s, which I agree with. I don't think he deserves to be in the 8s. I don't think he did enough to be in the 8s. Not in a bad way. He just didn't really have much defending to do. So yeah, and people saying dodgy second half, but everyone had a dodgy second half. I think we went to the beaches a little bit too early yesterday for me. Yeah. So yeah, still decent performance and promising. We got a super chat here from Massam with 2. Says focus on the result, not the second half performance. Completely agree, Massam. 100% agree. Pep took a little bit of a risk with the starting 11, making a few changes, and then he took another risk at half time, making the changes that he did. But at the end of the day, it worked. It paid off. So we're in a situation now where we had Haaland rested for 45 minutes, KDB rested, we had Akanji rested for most of the game, John Stones rested for 45 minutes, Ake rested the full game, Rodri rested for 40 minutes. This is really, really good. Obviously, Jack Grealish got rested a little bit near the end as well. So this is exactly what we want. You can't just go full performance. We've got a big game coming up on Wednesday against Bayern Munich. It was a game where Pep Guardiola felt he had to make a few risks, a few gambles, and he did. But it paid off. That's what it's about. Big up to Nathan with the 2 months. I think the subs were a bit early. Would have waited to the 60th minute. We would probably got another goal in the 15 minutes. Everyone was on. You're probably right, bro, but we got the win. And that's probably what Pep was like. Pep probably thought to himself. He probably thought to himself what you thought. He thought, if I keep Haaland on and keep everyone on, we probably will get a 4th goal. But do we need to? Do we need to do that? And we didn't in the end because we got the 3 points. So that's probably what he's thinking.
I'd rather do what Pep did yesterday. I'd rather he takes all those players off at the times he did and have a shaky last 15 minutes, but still win the game, than have all of them play 90 minutes and we batter Leicester 6-0. I'd rather them get the extra half an hour's rest that they wouldn't have got otherwise. It's about player and game management at this stage of the season. It's about giving your players every little percentage of rest and advantage you can give them, and that's what Pep did yesterday.
Agreed. Let's move it on then to the midfield players. We got Rodri, who played CDM for 53 minutes, got an assist. 94% pass accuracy off of 62 passes, misplaced only 4 passes in the game. Also made 1 key pass. He made 8 long balls, and every single one of them was successful. Also made 1 shot blocked. 2 ground duels, 1 of them won, and 1 his only aerial duel. Also made 1 clearance and 1 interception. And a little bit like John Stones, you could tell more about how good he done in that first half based on how poor we were in the second half. He was so good in that first half yet again. Passing stats incredible. Got an assist. Love to see it. And I think the best thing about Rodri yesterday is the fact that we've rested him for 40 minutes. Generally, man, I think that's so huge going into that Bayern Munich game. Because what you got to understand about that Bayern game is they are going to just go boom from minute one because they need to, right? Rodri's going to have a tough time on Wednesday, a really tough time, or you'd expect him to. So getting that 40 minutes rest, that's done him wonders, man. But yeah, first half, 5 minutes in the second half, yeah, no problem, man. Top performance again from Rodri. And again, for me, proving why he's the best CDM in the world.
I was literally about to say that exact same thing. I'm convinced. I don't care what stats or what Thomas Partey has or how many Champions League Casemiro has won. If we're talking about right now and this season, who is the best CDM in the world? If you watch football with your eyes, it is Rodri. It just is. He has absolutely everything. He does it week in, week out. He did it yesterday. He did it against Bayern Munich, and he'll do it again against Bayern Munich. Once again, I'm so glad he got those 40 minutes rest because he's one of the players who gets the least amount of rest. He's one of the players who has to play the most football. So every little minute you can give Rodri sitting down on his arse is an advantage, and it's a good thing in my eyes. So, and you saw the ovation. I don't know, you guys don't have the sound on when you're doing the watch along, but I had the sound on my TV. The ovation and the reception he got when he was taken off. The fans absolutely love Rodri. We all appreciate Rodri. What can you not love about Rodri? And yeah, like you see, the drop off when we took him off versus when we had him on is huge. And that's not me saying Calvin Phillips is a shit footballer. It's me saying Rodri is an elite footballer. Unbelievable yesterday. I think the first half, I'd give him an 8.9 because I won't give anybody who played 45 minutes above a 9 or into the 9s.
Yeah, no, I think he was magnificent again yesterday. I'm probably going to give him, I think 8.7. 8.7 for me. And the Xtra Club have given Rodri an 8.3. Which, yeah, maybe a little bit low there. But yeah, you guys in the chat, I mean, I said 7.9 in the chat there, which is, I think, is quite low. Yeah, 8.3. Maybe it's not low. I've seen a lot of 8s. Maybe we're just high. I don't know. Yeah, mad. Let's move it on then. Let's go to Bernardo Silva, who played 90 minutes in the game yesterday. 93% pass accuracy off 68 passes, 1 key pass, 3 crosses, 1 successful. 6 long balls, 4 successful, 2 dribble attempts, 1 successful, 6 ground duels, 1 successful, made 1 block shot as well. And that's it from the stats from Bernardo Silva. Yeah, I mean, it was one of them, wasn't it? You know, just pretty tidy, kept things ticking along. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. Is there much to speak about when it comes to Bernardo yesterday? Am I missing something there? I think he just sort of like didn't ghost through the game, but maybe the grey man is probably a better statement to have. I think he just kept things ticking over for me.
He just had a kind of a basic Bernardo Silva performance, and he kind of deserves to have one, after the performance he put in midweek. And I would expect him to play, and I will talk about the Bayern Munich game close to the time more, but I would expect him to go back onto the right wing against Bayern Munich, at least for the first half anyway, and try and just pick up where he left off, genuinely just see it out and try and nullify that attack and pace Bayern have. But as far as yesterday goes, I mean, like you said, there's no main highlights. He did his thing. He was energetic. He got around the pitch. He put pressure where it needed to be applied, got involved where he could. Just standard procedure, really, wasn't it? I think 7.5 is where I'd slap him.
Yeah, I'm going to go 7.6 on that one. And the Xtra Club have given him a 7.5. So, yeah, it's matched you guys. And the people in the chat, quite varied, really. It's quite varied on the Bernardo thing. I'm seeing 7s. I'm seeing 8.9s. Well, okay.
It's too high. Definitely.
Yeah, I think so as well. I think that's a little bit too high. But yeah, quite a variable. I guess it depends on what you think his role is and whether you think he executed it properly. Yeah, but for me, I'm a stick with that, man. I'm a stick with that.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, LB. It's how you see the game.
That's it, man. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Right, let's go to Kevin De Bruyne, who played 62 minutes yesterday before being subbed off, and I'm pleased to say there was no frustration from Kevin De Bruyne yesterday when he got subbed off. Got 1 assist, which was a brilliant run and pass through to Erling Haaland. Exceptional run and pass. 84% pass accuracy, which is quite high for Kevin De Bruyne. 2 key passes, 9 crosses, 1 successful, 6 long balls, 5 successful. Big chances created, 1 shot off target there as well. Defensive stats, he won 3 out of his 5 ground duels, made 1 successful tackle, and also had 2 successful dribbles out of 3. I mean, the run and the pass through to Erling Haaland, bro, it was out of this world, really. He kept the guy, I can't remember who it was, one of the midfielders for Leicester was trying to bring him down, and he was just like, nah. And for him to be able to get that pass off to Erling Haaland whilst under that much pressure, I was just like, that is incredible. And yeah, he seems to be back to his best, doesn't he? You know, you had to search a long time ago now a long time ago before you find a Kevin De Bruyne bad performance. He's putting in good performance after good performance at the moment. And yeah, that ball through to Haaland was exceptional. Really was.
Yeah, that was elite. That was vintage Kevin De Bruyne. And he's on, was it 15 assists now in the Premier League for the season? What's the record? Is it 20? And he's equal that
20.
before, hasn't he?
Yeah, 20. So he's 6.
And there's 7 games to go. Do we think he could break the record, 6 more assists?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's possible. You know what he kind of needs? He kind of needs one of them games where it's like 7-0 and Pep just leaves everyone on and he gets like 2 or 3 assists in one game. But I just don't see that happening at the moment, as sort of evidence yesterday. So, truth be told, I think right now it's unlikely. Because I just think he'll be subbed off whenever we get 2 or 3-0 up. But it's possible. It's certainly possible.
I'd rather he gets subbed off and we win, major honors than he breaks individual records and he does his ankle or something. Like, I was delighted when he was taken off yesterday because he had a heavy game against Bayern Munich midweek. Like, he was kicked a lot against Bayern Munich. They went out to have a go at him. If you watched him individually, they went heavy on him physically. So he's the same as Rodri, same as Haaland. Like I said, any bit of rest you can give them is huge. But listen, the assist yesterday, that's world class, and he made that himself. He picked the ball off. Was it Ndidi just inside the halfway line? Great run and an exquisite. Only Kevin De Bruyne can play that ball, and he plays it beautifully through Haaland. It's one of those vintage Pep, vintage Manchester City goals. But yeah, the rest is even more important. I'd give him an 8.3.
Yeah. I'm going to go higher than that, to be honest with you. I'm going to go 8.7. I am. I'm going to put him up there. Yeah, I just think that that goal was huge for me. And he, like you said, he made it himself. You know what I mean? He made it himself. So I'm going to go a bit higher. Yeah. The Xtra Club for Kevin De Bruyne, they're sort of with you. They've got 8.2. So that's where we are with that one. I'm seeing 8.8 in the chat there as well from Hards. I imagine that we're going to get a bit of a varied. It's got to be in the 8s for me. I don't think he quite gets in the 9s, in my opinion. And he's obviously in the 8s. So yeah, anywhere in the 8s, I think is kind of fine. Guys, make sure you drop a like on the stream, man. We've just got to 200 likes. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, man. Let's see if we can get to 250. So please hit that thumbs up button, man. Just helps the channel grow. Make sure you subscribe to the channel as well if you're new, as we're still on our road to 75,000 subscribers. And of course, we are doing the live watch along of the Arsenal game straight after this in 20 minutes. So make sure you come and join us. If you want to get active in the chat for that one, it will be members only chat. The link is in the pinned comment and the description. If you want to join the Xtra Club, help support the channel. And of course, get access to some of them chats and massively help support the channel. So big up to you guys. Thanos has come in with a super chat and says, "Why is our last game not at home?" Just that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, bro. You don't always get it. So yeah, disappointing. Of course, you always want to be lifting your trophy if you do win it in front of your home fans, but it's not always the case, man. So it just is what it is. Right, let's go into the attacking 3 then. Riyad Mahrez played 90 minutes in the game yesterday, had 65 touches with 46 passes, only misplaced 3 of those. That's a 93% pass accuracy. He made 2 key passes in the game, 4 crosses, all unsuccessful, 3 long balls, 2 of them were successful. Had 1 shot on target, 2 shots off target, and 1 shot blocked, 1 dribble attempt, unsuccessful, 5 ground duels, 2-1. And that's pretty much it for Riyad Mahrez's stats. I thought it was a bit of a quiet day for Riyad Mahrez yesterday. I don't think it was the game that really suited him. You know, they sat back and he doesn't really have that power that Grealish has. You know, Grealish has the ability to get the ball and drive with the ball because he's so sort of powerful and that. You know what I mean? He's a different type of player. He's more intricate. So a little bit of a quiet day for Riyad Mahrez yesterday. But you know, did his job where needed to, I suppose. And I don't think he negatively impacted the game. So I wouldn't be saying less than a 6. But yeah, just a bit of a quiet day for Riyad yesterday.
Yeah, not his best. And I think everything you outlined, massive contribution to why he can play his own game. I'm looking more at the second half of that Bayern game when Bayern throw the kitchen sink at us and it opens up in behind. That's when I'd say, you know what, unleash Riyad Mahrez. But in a game like yesterday where he's up against 2 and 3 defenders every single time he's in the ball, it's not going to be easy for Riyad Mahrez. You could tell he was desperate to score as well. He was shooting quite a bit, but not too much success. Yeah, look, it is what it is for Riyad Mahrez. He was trying. It's not like he looked disinterested or anything like that. I give him 6.9.
Yeah, I'll give him a 6.5. The Extra Club have given him a 6.7. So again, slap bang in the middle of our ratings there. And you guys in the chat, I'm seeing highs of 7.5, 7.7. I think that's high for me personally. I've not seen anything lower than a 6, which is good. So yeah, it's just a bit of a quiet day. It happens. It happens. Well, let's move it on to Jack Grealish, who I thought had another good game yesterday. Played 74 minutes, 0 shots on target, 1 shot off target, 1 shot blocked, 5 dribble attempts. All of them were successful. Had an 85% pass accuracy off of 41 passes. 2 crosses, unsuccessful. 2 long balls, 1 successful. He won 9 out of his 10 ground duels. Didn't win his only aerial duel. Won 2 fouls. And made he didn't make any interceptions. I thought he said 2, but no, he didn't. He didn't make any interceptions. I thought he had another good game. I don't think it was up there with one of his best performances, but I thought he had another good game. I thought, given how defensively set up Leicester were, I thought he actually managed to create a load of chances. I think he roasted Castagna quite a few times. Kept on going to the byline and getting some good balls in. Of course, won the penalty as well, the handball. That was down to his run. And got that penalty. Doesn't get the official assist. A lot of people would like got an assist for it. No, he gets an FPL assist, but real life, real stats, that doesn't class as an assist. But yeah, you know what? I thought he played well, bro. I did.
Yeah, listen, Grealish is Mr. Consistent right now. I think he's been consistent for most of the season. And yesterday, I was pleasantly surprised to see him adding more diversity to his game and going to the byline. I think Castagna and other Leicester defenders, they were just expecting him to do his usual, cut in on the right foot every single time. And he said, "Nah, I'm going to give you something else to worry about." And hopefully that's something we can expect more of in the future, because I feel if he can add that to his skill set consistently, he's one of the trickiest wingers in world football at that stage. That's all he needed to add was, the ability to give a defender something different to worry about and not become predictable. But yeah, listen, yesterday he was good, man. He was driving with the ball. He was tenacious in defense. He was making those big defensive runs that he doesn't get enough credit for as well, getting back and helping out. Very good from him. He was possibly my man of the match. I know Haaland got 2 goals, possibly Jack Grealish. I give him an 8.8.
Yeah, I'm going to give him an 8.5. I'm going to give him an 8.5, but still great performance and a really, really good rating. The Extra Club, I've given him a 7.6.
Nah, that's low.
That's a low rating, man. I don't know what happened there, man. Yeah, I mean, maybe the Extra Club were, I don't know, a little bit fuming last night about something. I don't know, man, but I think that's a little bit low, personally. However, to be fair, there are people in the chat. Maybe we're just seeing it as something else, bro. Because there are a couple of people in the chat saying 7.5, 7.5, 7.6, 7.8. Maybe we're high. I don't know, but this is why I kind of love player ratings, man. Because one person, as you said, bro. Love is in the eye of the beholder, right? Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I'm looking at it thinking, I think he had a good game, good rating. Other people are saying 7.5, standard driller. So this is why I love player ratings, man. Right, let's go to the main man. 45 minutes played, 2 goals off a 1.49 XG. So exceeding his XG again. 2 shots on target, 1 shot off target, 1 dribble attempt, unsuccessful. Only had 13 touches of the ball, man. Unbelievable. Misplaced only 1 pass, or 2 passes, sorry, out of his 8 total passes. And one of those passes was a key pass as well. Didn't win his only ground duel, did win 1 out of 3 aerial duels, lost possession a total of 3 times. But it's not about the stats like that. It comes down, when you speak about Haaland, it comes down to the meat and gravy. And it's all about the goals, man. And I've got to say, penalty, I know it hit the post, but that's pretty much the best type of penalty you can get. If it hits the post and goes in, it gives the keeper absolutely no chance. And the finish from the Kevin De Bruyne, what you actually, a lot of people talk about the finish. I thought what was more impressive was that first touch, because the ball's played through at not the best angle. Of course, it's the only real angle Kevin De Bruyne can play the ball through, but the ball's going away from the goal. He's got to get that touch, that first touch, so good, because he's got to take the ball away from the defender, but not do that as much so he can't then get the shot off, because he needs to. He's only got 2 touches there. He's got the 1 touch and then the goal, the shot. If his touch is too heavy, it's going to narrow down the angle. It's going to make the shot really difficult. If his touch is too light, the defender probably gets back over him, or the ball could get stuck under his feet. He's not going to be able to get the shot away. The finish was exquisite. But for me, that touch was absolutely sublime. People always talk about, his touch he's not got the best touch in the game. Well, I don't know where this myth has come from. Okay, it's not up there with Harry Kane. I'm not saying it's up there with Harry Kane, but he's not like a League Two or a non-league player. He's still a brilliant player of the ball. And that first touch, man, for the chip goal was incredible. The penalty was 10 out of 10, and the finish for his goal was amazing as well. So, yeah, I mean, 45 minutes. He's equaled the record, the Premier League record in a 38-game season, and Mohamed Salah needs one more to beat that. Next game is Arsenal, which is funny enough. But yeah, just another. I mean, he only touched the ball 8 times, 13 times, whatever. I mean, 2 goals is ridiculous.
Yeah, rival fans and pundits earlier on in the season used to get really angry over the fact that he wasn't touching the ball, and they were using this as like a mechanism to say, City and Haaland isn't working, it's not going to work, they've ruined their team, they've ruined Haaland, and he'll leave and he'll go to Real Madrid in 6 months. He's breaking records, lads. He's breaking records with 12 touches a game. Like, you explain that to me. You do the maths on that. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I don't know. But listen, with the penalty, perfect. You know, that's what you want the player to do. Hit the target low and hard into the corner. The second goal is a work of art. It really is a proper, really intelligent striker's finish. You're right. The first touch had to be spot on. You got to spot on. But the finish, I think 95% of other strikers, they just roll it along the ground into the far corner, but he has the intelligence and the composure to put a bit of height on it, put a bit of air on it, because the keeper's gone to the ground really quickly and he gets his reward. You could tell he's been in that position a million times before. It just looks so natural for Erling Haaland when he's in these high pressure split seconds where he has to come up with a bit of brilliance. It's no problem to him. I said on my records video the other day about him that these high pressure situations, all the external noise, all the demands and records being spoken about, it doesn't phase him. It does not phase Erling Haaland. When we say he's a freak, I genuinely mean kid's a freak. He's 22. He's doing all this. Harry Kane wasn't the complete footballer he is right now when he was 22. Yeah, he was putting up very good numbers, but he wasn't the all-round footballer he is. That's a much more recent thing. And you can see Haaland make an effort to do that now. You saw a few times yesterday. He was dropping deep. Don't know how much success he got, but it looks like it's something Pep is trying to get him to do. I expect Haaland in 12 months' time to be an even more rounded footballer than he is right now, on top of the goals he's getting. Excellent.
Agree. Now, I know you said you can't give a 9 to someone who only played 45 minutes, but I am going to give him a 9. That's exactly what I'm going to give him.
Bro, he's the exception.
Yeah, even though he only played 45 minutes, his job there is to score goals. That's his job for the team. And in 45 minutes, he scored 2 brilliant finishes. And having Erling Haaland in the team allows us to do what we did at half-time. It allows us to completely change the team and rest our players for the second half. You don't have Erling Haaland in that team yesterday. We're probably not 3-0 up at half-time. Pep Guardiola can't make those substitutions. He can't give rest to players like Kevin De Bruyne, Haaland himself, Rodri. You know what I mean? John Stones. So I'm going to give him a 9. That's the exception for me. You on 9s as well, or are you sticking to your rule?
I'll give him a 9.4, man. I think, like I said, he's the exception to my above 9 rule for 45-minute played players. Like you said, what he does allows the rest of the team to do certain things. Without him, you can't take off those players. Without him, we don't have that cushion of 3-0 up. So listen, he's excellent, man. And for the fact that he equaled the record yesterday, a big day for him. So I'll give him a 9.4, man. He's a special player.
Osmodus, the calculator says 9. The Erling Haaland score player rating calculator is 6 base rating, and he gets 1.5 bonus for every goal. So yeah, he's sat there exactly a 9. The Xtra Club give him a 9.5. That's where they are. I'm not going to go through the subs, but I do want to speak about Pep Guardiola. Obviously, did make that gamble with a couple of changes in the team selection, and then completely changed it. I personally think he should get a 10. I think he's done absolutely good. And people could be like, yeah, but LB, we were shit in the second half. We won the game. That's all that matters. Pep Guardiola, he sat there last night, and I guarantee you, after the match, he would have been sat in his office with a glass of red wine, with a massive smile on his face, because he's got the 3 points, he's got +2 on the goal difference, and he's rested half the team. So for me, he made a huge gamble, but the gamble paid off. I'm giving him a 10 out of 10, bro. Again, I think he's making all the correct decisions right now.
Yeah, people are too fixated on the drop-off in quality in those last sort of 15, 20 minutes, and they're too fixated on about Gomez, giving out about Phillips to realize the overall context. If you'd offered Pep all those things you're talking about the night before, he'd bite the hand off you. If you offered me those things the night before, I'd bite the hand off you. I don't care if Phillips was poor or Gomez was poor. I don't think they were, but I don't care if they were. The wider context is our big dogs got a rest. We got 3 points. We've improved the goal difference. It's a good Saturday afternoon for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And just quickly before we finish off, referee obviously gave us the penalty. Correct decision for me. Had a big call to make as well on Sergio Gomez. They wanted a penalty for that, but he got that one right in my opinion because his arm was put down by his side. And don't really remember, other than that, the referee having to make too many calls, unless you can think of anything.
I don't think so. To be fair to him,
I think the referee should get a good rating, man. I'm even at 8.5. I think he did a good job yesterday. Refereed the game quite well. So yeah, I think he done well.
You've got a very love-hate relationship with referees, you do, bro.
I do have but you know what I mean, because I think they're ass. That's why, because I think they're absolutely awful. But I mean, there you go. It is what it is. The Xtra Club, did they give a rating for the referee? They did. They give him a 5.7, which I think is harsh, man. We got to give credit where credit's due. I think he did okay. Boom. And that concludes the player ratings. My man of the match, Erling Haaland. Your man of the match as well, right?
Yeah, I'll give it to Haaland, yeah. Maybe Grealish slightly behind them, but Haaland.
Yeah, and Haaland also gets the man of the match award from the Xtra Club as well. So, yeah, man of the match all around the gaff. So big up to Erling Haaland again with the 2 goals. Equaled Mohamed Salah's record of 32 goals in a 38 Premier League game season. But we've got more games left. Can he beat that? Can he beat the all-time Premier League record of 34, which is Andy Cole and Alan Shearer? That was in a 42-game season. It's going to be a madness. Guys, don't go anywhere, man. The stream should redirect you over now to the big watch-along. Arsenal away at West Ham. Big up the Irons, man.
Come on, you Irons.
With bubbles. Pretty bubbles. Yeah. Guys, enjoy the rest of your day. Come and join me now for the watch-along. It's going to be big. Hopefully West Ham can do something. And we'll catch you in a bit. See you later.